Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, it is the D-Day, the Saba Saba Day. Today is the day. Well, there's news coming in thick and fast about the current protest in Kenya, Saba Saba. Again, I don't have to give you the history of Saba Saba. Just a quick, um, history behind Saba Saba. Saba Saba was a day that was designated that the opposition back in the day in 1990, they picked up this day as the day to have a mammoth, massive protest against the regime of the day, which was Moi's regime. The youth at the time, the Gen Z version of the time, were fighting for, uh, uh, what do you call it, multi-partism, okay? So Orengo, Rubia, and Shikuku and the others, they were the ones who were on the forefront trying to get people to go on the streets, vehemently fighting for a multi-party system. So fast forward 40 something or 30 something years later, now we have, you know, the Gen Zs who are using this significant day to go out and protest against this current regime that is being ruled by Ruto, who has gone rogue, okay? Now, very quick updates. I told you yesterday that even as far as yesterday, there were youth that were coming from that summer something in Diani Beach in Mombasa. They were trying to make their way back to Nairobi, and the police intercepted, stopped, and detained them, stopping them from going towards Nairobi. And the SGR train also, they were kind of trying to stop anybody who is trying to make their way to Nairobi, okay? And that's not the only place that these folks have done. But before I go on, ladies and gentlemen, just take a moment. If you're joining me right now, please take a moment and hit the like button. Okay, subscribe, share, like, do all the good stuff. I know majority of you young folks are on the ninio, mko huko kwa ground hapo mnafanya ile vitu. So we appreciate your resilience and your defiance against these corrupt Kenyan politicians, okay, or political regime, this Ruto regime. So anyway, so far today, from what I've heard, what I've seen on the social media, I do not depend on the mainstream media because they give a skewed version of what's happened. Full of a police. Yes, Babil, thank you so much for letting me know. Yes, it seems like the police have flooded all police mapolisi wote from every part of Kenya descended in Nairobi CBD, and they're making sure that no one is coming in Nairobi. Nobody is coming to Nairobi. That's basically their plan. But so far, I've had these very nasty skirmishes, exchanges in I think it's Kiambu Road. Of course, in Kiambu also it's popping up there. So like I said, in Mount Kenya, that's where the action is. That's the hapo ndio kuna ile vita vikali. But in Kiambu Road, I guess Thika Road, I guess somewhere, the youth are kind of making their way to CBD. They are kuna watu ambao they found their way. They overwhelmed the police because okay, I'm being told here, Babylon and Mbeti, Gen Z are on their way to CBD. This is interesting, okay? Because that I saw a clip too of Gen Z making their way. I think it was through Thika Road or Kiambu Road or whatever road it was, making their way to CBD. As I told you, the strategy by this administration was to, block all the exits or the entrance into CBD, the highway, the main highway into Nairobi CBD. They're kind of blocking it, making sure that nobody goes in, and anyone who goes in there, they have to kind of vet and ask them questions. see what their business is. Are they going to work, or they're just youth trying to make their way there in the protest? Okay. Now, again, this is a clear, uh, exhibition, or this administration is showing that they are actually uh, rattled, or they are scared by these Gen Zs. And like I said, I saw a couple of clips where the youth were in, they were on top of a huge truck, and they were by the dozens making their way to CBD. There was, I think, Thika Road or Kiambu Road, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me, where they seem to have overwhelmed the police that were stationed there, who are trying to kind of vet whoever is going, making their way there. And the Gen Z seem to have, got their way, and they are making their way to Nairobi CBD. So it will be interesting to see what happens. By the way, also in Kamkunji, Kamkunji, where Raila Odinga was supposed to come address the people. I don't know if he's still going to address the people. There's no signs of any podium being erected, or any days being, staged there, okay, or any mount. Any there's no signs that any politician will be showing up at Kamkunji anytime soon, okay? There are people who are going there. I've had interviews from various people. There are people who are there who are waiting for Raila Odinga, saying that, we will make him understand, or remind him why we are not happy with him joining Ruto, or whatever the case is, or will remind him of how much of a traitor he has been, turning his back towards Kenya, against Kenyans, so turning his back on Kenyans, that is. So these are interesting developments, whether it's in Kamkunji. Remember, Raila said he's going to make his way to Kamkunji. Now, this is interesting because we are going to be faced with two kind of challenges here. If Raila is allowed to go to Kamkunji and, do whatever he was planning to do, which was going to have his own rally with his supporters, whatever the case is, and if he does that without any police intervening the meeting, or harassing or tear gassing them, what message will that show if Raila is allowed to do that while the Gen Z are not allowed to go to CBD and actually protest? Because going to CBD or protesting at the CBD is not illegal. It's not an illegality. There's nothing wrong with going to CBD and protesting at the CBD. That's just, it's encompassed in the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't say that there's designated areas where one can protest, okay? People can protest anywhere, in any public space, as long as you're not interfering with anybody's business, or you're not infringing on anybody's rights. You're not making people, violating other people's rights by, stopping their freedom of movement or something like that. You're allowed to do that. So if this government was actually confident and not insecure, they would have left these Gen Zs to go to the protest in CBD and do whatever they want to do, as long as they are not destroying businesses, which these Gen Zs are not about destroying the business. We've seen even June 25th last year, 2024, they went down and they never actually did anything that as far as like destroying the businesses and stuff like that. Karibu sana Shi Mariam, I'm seeing you. Shi Mariam is telling me biashara zikifungwa hivi 1 week, viburi vyao vitaisha juu, watakuwa wanaenda hasara. So basically, Shi Mariam is saying that, of course, the businesses in CBD was closed. It was ghost town earlier today. So Shi Mariam is saying that if the Gen Zs maintain this protest for at least 1 week, this will humble this political class, because businesses will be at standstill, and that will basically be a negative thing economically, which will bring down the economy of not only the Nairobi county, but the nation, because Nairobi, collects the most revenue of all the counties. Okay, so that will affect the economy of Kenya greatly. Okay, remember was it last Mandamanos or during Uhuru when he was telling us that the Mandamanos were costing the government 2 billion a day, something like that. So you can imagine how much this protest cost the government. But again, it's up to the government to actually make things work. You have to create an environment where it's conducive for economic prosperity for everyone, all, and that includes, employment of the youth. These youth would not be on the streets if they had, meaningful uh, employment, making, reasonable um, income, having an income. They will not be on the streets, but they're in the streets because they're tired of the extrajudicial killings, they're tired of the corruption, they're tired of unemployment, they're tired of lack of development, they're tired of, this borrowing that this government is doing. They're tired of, getting abducted and being shot down when they protest against these things. They're tired of their voices not being respected. They're tired of the police, brutalizing them and treating them like, criminals. So it's a combination of all these things. Basically comes down to the government not respecting the will of the people or the concerns and all the things that these youth are bringing up, reminding the government that this is what they need to do. So anyway, just quick again, a quick update again. Like I say, there's reports that the Gen Zs are making their way to CBD. It's so funny because as early as it's like the police, they spent their night in Nairobi CBD, erecting all this police roadblocks or whatever the case is. And I just saw on X again, it says that one of the Gen Zs have come up with an app that gives you real-time updates on where all the roadblocks are in Kenya. Nakuru is also another interesting place that we should be watching. Nakuru is also said to, there's a lot of tension between the police and the protests, so we don't know how that will go. But again, like I was saying, the police seem to have woken up. They woke up very early in the morning. Actually, they spent their night in Nairobi CBD, erecting all these roadblocks, trying to make sure that movement is limited in CBD. Whoever is coming in has to be vetted and looked at, and they ask them questions. If it's a group of people, they try to turn them back, and so forth, so forth. Okay, so these guys were actually, I usually say that I've said it in numerous videos before any mandamano. Again, sitting in numbers. Okay, there's no way about it. Sitting in numbers. You come out in numbers, there's nothing these cops can do. And I think that is what is happening. I think it is in Thika Road or Kiambu Road or whatever the case is, one of the above, where these Gen Zs are actually making inroads. They're making their way to CBD. Now, the question is, which I wonder, and if you're on the ground, please give me an update. I will highlight your comment here if you're on the ground. Here is what I wonder also. If the Gen Zs make it to CBD and start their march towards State House, will Raila still hold his Kamkunji ground meeting? Will he? Because the ground right now is still sketchy. There's tension. There's still, I saw one of the pro-government bloggers was walking around CBD bragging that, tension, hakuna tension ya kisiasa hapa. There's no maandamano. It seems like the president is on top of things, okay? But then, hours later, 2-3 hours later, naona some people have made their way to CBD. There's actually a group there that's actually marching and singing, chanting one time and all this stuff. They seem to they're making their way to CBD. So it's like, it is almost as if the Gen Z, they gave the police time to show their hand, to see what the police were planning to do. Then they're now countering it. Okay, so it's like again, the police walikuja mapema wakaanza kuzuia hizi mabarabara and all this stuff, but then Gen Z wakaenda wakafanya ninio inaitwaje, upelelezi uchunguzi to see where these people are, how the police are set up and all this stuff. Then now we are seeing that they are making their way slowly into the CBD. There've been again, there've been skirmishes. There's some places where there are tear gas ilikuwa, and so we are waiting to see. We are waiting to see. I will be having another session. This is just the first session that I'm going to have. I'll have another session where I will have like clips from the X spaces where I show you guys what's really happening, what people are posting, like I say, and also give news clips from the mainstream media, even though I don't like using the mainstream media because they have a biased view of what's happening on the ground. I'd rather have, individual posts from people, because that's how you get real-time live news about the current events. In fact, if there's let's say there's any kind of reports of police brutality, shooting, or extrajudicial killings, the only way to find out is through these people actually reporting. These Gen Zs or whoever is involved on the ground using their phone. Again, we are living in a different time, okay? We are in the information age where we don't have to wait for Larry Mado, whatever his name is, to tell us about what's happening on the ground during Mandaman, okay? We can simply, go to the media and, on X or Instagram or whatever the case is, and see people post what's happening on the ground in real time. I mean, there's some people we can follow who are on the ground who are telling us what's happening. So we are going to continue to, I'm going to continue to monitor what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. And on my second session, ladies and gentlemen, I will come in and I will have an interactive session where anybody who is on the ground or any news that you receive from the ground, we shall be sharing on the chat, and I'll actually open the link for anyone to come and just give their views on what's transpired today on this day of Saba Saba. If the Gen Zs are making actually inroads, are they successful? Is there signs that they are about to overwhelm the Kenyan police? And what about the State House? The State House, is it safe enough for Ruto? Again, we still don't know where Ruto's whereabouts are, but that's not a concern right now. The aim for the Gen Zs and the majority of Kenyans is to kufika Ikulu, okay? To get to State House. That's the main aim here. So I'm going to continue to follow up. And like I said, my second session will be more interactive, and I shall be bringing you different posts of people who are on the ground, who are posting about what's happening. Any exchange that is happening between the security forces, the police and whatever the case. So make sure you put your notification on so that you do not miss that second session, okay? Meanwhile, I need you to like, share, comment, subscribe in this video, and do all the good stuff. Put the notification on so when I come in, you will get the notification and you can actually be part of that session. Okay, I will leave it here because where I'm at, I have to run a couple of errands, do some things while I kind of follow closely what's happening on the ground in Kenya. Then I shall bring that, once I finish my, my things here and there, I'm working as I do this, okay? So once I finish doing all this stuff, I will have a session where we can have this interactive kind of discussions about what's happening on the ground. I'm Namnagani. So put your notification on, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I will see you in a few hours. It will take me maybe, 4, 5, 6 hours later from now. So you check your time, and I might wait till maybe the day is done and see what happens the day in Kenya. Once everything is concluded, whether it's a success or not, we shall analyze that. So again, for the umpteenth time, subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the good stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, Babil, for the news there, and Shimariam too. Tutaonana in a few hours. I'm Namnagani. All right, peace and blessings, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.